B, fruit, C, leaves, and D, bark. So your correct answer is a bark. So which type of bark occur in the cinchona? There is a cassia bark. Then again, next is the seeds, nux omica. As I told you, if you remember, the seeds are divided into three types. One is one is endospermic, non-endospermic, and perispermic. Already we have discussed. So Naxomica come under the endospermic, dear student. Now we don't have that much time to go in that much detail because already I have covered this part basic. Then root is aconite, fruit black pepper, leaves tobacco. Will just revise fastly. Latex, opium poppy. That is the latex. So, but you have to remember these parts though. This is the very important also, right? This is very important, the question which will be asked on that. That's why I have included in the today's session this part, right? How will you classify? I know that classification is very important. You have completed this classification, but there is a need of this revision. So alkaloids are divided into three parts. One is the two alkaloids, amino alkaloids and pseudo alkaloid. So in the true alkaloids, right, so there is a heterocycle containing alkaloid, so there is atropine. So in the atropine there is a tropane, right? Then synconin, right? So amino, simple amines. So there is a ephedrine and colchicine. These are the simple amines, right? And pseudo alkaloids are steroidal. So that is the terpenoidal, conicin, aconitin. So here, this is the classification to amino and pseudo. Now we'll go for the chemical classification, right? We'll go for the, so question may be asked, which is an example of simple amino containing alkaloids. So you must know that ephedrine, ephedra, colchicine, colchicum, autumnale, and colchicum luteum. So dear student, out of that, which is an Indian species? So colchicum luteum, which is a Indian species, right? Colchicum autumnale. Then now see, this is a particularly some types. So there is a tropane, the basic structure. There is atropine, and cocaine, cocaine in the atropine, and there is a tropane ring is there, right? Quinoline, there is a quinine and synconin. So source is a for the tropane, there is a datura, there is a belladonna. For the cocaine, coca erythrosalis, coca atropa belladonna, quinoline, quinine, syncona alkaloid, right? Then isoquinoline, there is a narcotin and papaverine. So narcotin, there is a opium poppy, right? Ipecac, the indole, strychnine, naxomica, argometrin, ergot, phenanthrene. So we'll take the fast, this part already you have finished, right? Then purine, caffeine, right? Just we have to revise. Again, many more students, they don't know that what is a purine. Purine is a combination of midazoles and pyrimidine. So you know the numbering of the purine is very important, which is the starting. You have to complete the first ring, then go to the second ring. So first ring is a pyrimidine, go to the second ring, that's the imidazole. पहले आपको पहला रिंग कंप्लीट कीजिए, उसके बाद इमिडाजोल रिंग पे जाइए, वहां पे 7 8 9 आएगा. And purine is a very important. If you will add the double bond O, then it will become the xanthine. And you know this purine or this xanthine, if you will go in detail for the chemistry of this, 137 trimethyl xanthine is nothing but this is a caffeine. 137 trimethyl xanthine is a caffeine. Now, how you can remember the names of the chemical name of the theophylline and theobromine? So you have to go for the first two methyl. So that is a 1,3-dimethyl xanthine. That is your theophylline. And next of the two, that is a 3,7-dimethyl xanthine is a theobromine. So dear student, in this way here, the question which will be asked on the chemistry of phytochemistry, you can see that, right? Or chemistry rather, if we will see the medicine, so that is a drug acting on respiratory system, there is a caffeine. And so in this way you have to go. So that is a T. Next, particularly, there is a pyridine. As you know, pyridine is a particularly six-member ring containing, there is a unsaturation and nitrogen. There is a ricin, lobelia, castor, and lobelia. Lobelia is called as Indian tobacco. Lobelia is called as Indian tobacco. Lobelia is called as Indian tobacco. Imidazole, pilocarpine. Pilocarpine is obtained from the Pilocarpus microphyllus. There are the two species, dear student, Pilocarpus microphyllus and Pilocarpus जाबोरांडी. सो क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे आता है, पिलोकार्पिन इज ऑब्टेन फ्रॉम द पिलोकार्पस माइक्रोफाइलस एंड पिलोकार्पस jaborandi. Again, pilocarpine is a drug which is used in the treatment of the particularly glaucoma, right? Pilocarpine. Again, here you can go logically. Pilocarpine is the only one drug which is administered orally as well as topically. Orally as well as topically, that you have to remember, right? Next is particularly स्टेरॉइडल कोनेसिन कुर्ची होलारिना एंटीडिसेंट्रिका. होलारिना एंटीडिसेंट्रिका, that is a kurchi again, right? So aconite, terpenoid, alkaloidal, particularly ephedra giardiana, belonging to the family Ephedriaceae, right? So this whatever we have discussed, that was the classification. Now today's topic is identification test for the crude drugs. So out of that, here we are going to focus on the what are the general tests for the alkaloid. And if you will see, dear student, every year the if every GPAT exams, so there will be question which will be asked on the general alkaloidal test, right? So here most alkaloids are the precipitate from neutral or slightly acidic solution, right? So I have mnemonic become the mnemonics here, DMWH, not BMW. So DMWH, D Dragondorf reagent. There is a Dragondorf reagent is a potassium bismuth iodide, orange color form होता है यहाँ पे. You have to remember, देखो बच्चों आपको याद रखना है, ड्रैगन ड्रॉप जो भी है ऑरेंज कलर फॉर्म होता है. स्टूडेंट्स आर कंफ्यूज इन बिटवीन ड्रैगन ड्रॉप्स एंड वैगनर. देखो वैगनर में आपको याद रखना है रेड ब्राउन, वहां पे आपको ब्रिक कलर का याद रखो, जो बीट भट्टी वो याद रखो, राइट? दैट इज अ वैगनर, राइट? ड्रैगन ड्रॉप पे आपको ऑरेंज कलर प्रेसिपिटेट मिलता है. यू हैव टू रिमेंबर ऑरेंज कलर प्रेसिपिटेट ऑब्टेन्ड इन ऑप्शन ए ड्रैगन ड्रॉप, बी मेयर्स रिएजेंट, सी वैगनर एंड डी हैगर्स. सो करेक्ट आंसर इज you know that is a orange color is a Dragendorf reagent, right? Potassium bismuth iodide. Which reagent is used? So there is a potassium iodide, there is a mercuric iodide, there is a potassium, uh, you know, iodide, and next is a picric acid. So potassium bismuth iodide, which is a use in the Dragendorf reagent. So यहाँ पे बच्चे क्या करते हैं? If they are remembering the color and name of the chemical test, but sometime what exactly happen, कभी कभार क्या पूछते हैं, वो जो रिएजेंट है केमिकल रिएजेंट उस पे फोकस किया जाता है और वो पूछते हैं. सो एट दैट टाइम हम लोग को वो आता नहीं है, वी आर मिसिंग आर particularly 4 plus 1 5 marks, because we are going for the wrong answers, so that is a 4 and then 1 negative mark, so that you will lose your 5 marks. So remember, you have to go for the all these things. Dragondorf, potassium bismuth iodide, Mears, there is a potassium mercury iodide solution, there is a cream color ppt is there, right? Cream color ppt. Wagner's reagent, iodine in a I2 in Ki, red brown precipitate, right? Wagner's reagent. And Hager तो बहुत ही फेमस है, पिक्रिक एसिड, हैगर रिएजेंट. सो यहाँ पे हैगर रिएजेंट येलो प्रेसिपिटेट फॉर्म होता है डियर स्टूडेंट, एंड कैफीन डज प्रेसिपिटेट. सो हैगर्स यू हैव टू रिमेंबर, हैगर जहां पे आएगा वहां पे पिक्रिक एसिड आएगा, और पिक्रिक एसिड जहां पे आएगा वहां पे येलो प्रेसिपिटेट आएगा. सो देयर इज अ सम टाइम रिएजेंट इज. अब यहाँ पे बच्चे क्या करते हैं, अरे सर ने पिक्रिक एसिड बताया था हमको पढ़ाते समय, और वहां पे ऑप्शन में रहता है सोडियम पिक्रेट. अरे भैया वो सॉल्ट है, उसका सोडियम पिक्रेट है या पिक्रिक एसिड है, येलो प्रेसिपिटेट ही फॉर्म होना है. सो यू हैव टू रिमेंबर द मोस्ट ऑफ द नाइट्रो कंटेनिंग कंपाउंड्स आर येलो इन नेचर. अगेन यू नो यहाँ पे पिक्रिक एसिड है, अगर केमिकली पूछा जाएगा, पिक्रिक एसिड इज केमिकली 2,4,6 ट्राइनाइट्रोफिनॉल. यहाँ पे बच्चे अगर किसी के स्ट्रक्चर पूछ लिया, अरे भैया यहाँ पे तो सीओएच ही नहीं है, ये एसिड का है, एसिड नहीं है वो. एंड एज यू नो there is no COOH, although it is acid. And if you remember, phenols are weak acid in nature, so it is a chemically 2,4,6 trinitrophenol. ये भी हमें याद रखना है, right? So DMWH we have seen. So in the Dagendorf, which color is there? Orange, red, red. color is there. And in the diagonal, which reagent, as you know very well, potassium bismuth iodide, then I2 in potassium iodide, that is a Mayer's. Hager's, there is a picric acid, right? So then you have to remember just like this. So extraction purification, you have to remember mainly there are the method 1, method 2, and method 3 here. So whatever the powder form, amorphous form, that is treated with the alkalis, so particularly NaOH, to liberate the some free bases that can be extracted with the water immiscible or water insoluble organic solvents. Again, this powder in the second method, powder is extracted with the water or aqueous alcohol, that is with dilute acid, and alkaloid extracted salt is there. So there are some soluble impurities, and that powder is extracted with the water soluble organic solvent. So there is a methanol, there is ethanol. These are the good solvents for the both salts, and there is a free bases, right? So there is extraction, purification. If you will see, this is in a pathways form. In the pathways, you can see that. So whenever that powdered crude drug material, which is defatted with the non-polar solvent, right? So then there is a defatted crude material, which again we have to extract it with the some organic solvent, that's a methanol, right? So then methanol extract, you have to go for the concentrate. So dissolve in the water, you have to acidify it up to pH 2, which is a very acidic. So alkaloidal salt, you will get it. Then go for the distillation, and that remove the trace amount of methanol. So particularly steam distillation, you have to stand for the some several days in a freeze and boil with the paraffin water, filtrate, shake with the organic solvent like a chloroform ether. Now you will get the here the two layer. One is as you know, you can filter, you can use here the particularly separating funnel. In the separating funnel here, you will get the two layer. One is aqueous phase, another is non-aqueous. That non-aqueous is a organic phase, right? Aqueous phase, that is aqueous phase containing the alkaloid salt. As you know very well, salts are water soluble, right? So you have to basify this with ammonium or sodium bicarbonate, and dilute KOH, aqueous phase, organic phase, and evaporate to the dryness, and that is nothing but a crude alkaloid, right? This is the extraction part, isolation part, purification part, and separation of the alkaloid, right? Now here we have finished the chemical test along with the some alkaloid part, the which are the MCQs. I have focused on the identification or chemical test of the crude drugs. So which questions were asked in the previous exam that I have mentioned here. Wagner test is useful for the identification of, right? Right. So there is a glycoside, option B tannins, there is a C alkaloid, there is a again lionide. So correct answer is alkaloid. Correct answer is alkaloid, right? Dagendorf reagent gives the orange range color with. So in which reagent is used in the Dragon-Drop reagent? As you know very well, in the Dragon-Drop reagent, we have used potassium bismuth iodide, and that is with the not steroid, not saponin, and not resin. Steroidal glycosides are there, saponin glycosides are there, but here your correct answer is alkaloid. So this is the general test, that is a Dragon-Drop reagent. Mere test for the alkaloids produces, right? Mayer test, in case of the Mayer test, as we have seen that in the Mayer test, particularly potassium mercuric iodide. So here green color, blue color, cream color PPT. So cream color PPT, you know you know very well, there is a cream color, cream, just like a curd, त्यासारखं तुम्हाला कलर मिळणार, राइट? आपको मिलेगा. So red ppt, no way, not at all. So Mayer, you have to remember the cream color precipitate. Then Hager's reagent used in alkaloid identification countries, as I already told you, picric acid. So mercury chloride and mercuric iodide that we have seen in the Mayer test, iodine in the iodide that we have seen in the Wagner reagent, and bismuth nitrate, bismuth iodide. So that is potassium bismuth. That is we have used in the Dragon-Drop reagent. So dear student, in this were the questions which were asked in the previous exam. There may be question asked in the coming year JIPAT 2026. Vanur test, you know the Vanur test is mainly, there are the some options: quinoline alkaloid, indole alkaloid, isoquinoline alkaloid, and pyrrolidine alkaloid. So Vanur test is particularly positive for the ergot. And as you know very well, ergot is nothing but the indole alkaloid. So remember, dear student, Vanur test is a positive for the indole alkaloid, and indole alkaloid, which is an example. There is ergometrin, there is ergotoxin, there is ergovinin, there is right. So indole alkaloid, there is a example come under the indole alkaloid. उसमें आता है अर्गोट, right? Ergot claviceps belong to the family Clavicipitaceae. Which alkaloid gives the blue violet color with the ferric chloride, right? So here your correct answer is, so options are A morphine, B quinine, C atropine, and D nicotine. So this question was asked in the GPAT 10, right? So your correct answer, there is a blue violet color, dear student, with the ferric chloride, and that is a morphine. That is a morphine. And remember, again the question which will Vitalimorine, famous test for the tropane alkaloid. Vitalimorine test is specific for the tropane alkaloid. Tropane alkaloid. Then here there is the indole alkaloid, tropane alkaloid, indole alkaloid. We have seen the which test for the indole alkaloid? Van Uyck test. Which test for the quinoline alkaloid? Right. So quinoline, that is you can say that particularly, right? Then isoquinoline alkaloid, murexide test, which is used to identify the purine alkaloid. Purine alkaloid. So again, purine alkaloid. What is the purine alkaloid? What are the example come under the purine alkaloid? In the purine alkaloid, examples are, there is a theophylline, there is a particularly caffeine, there is a theobromine, right? So these are the particularly chemical tests. So these are the questions. These are the questions particularly which were asked in the previous test, right? Previous test. Now, if you will go for the next. Now, before going to this, what are the other tests? For the alkaloid, as I told you, in the alkaloid, you can say that the test for the alkaloid, Vitalimorine test, that is for the tropane alkaloid, right? So Van Uyck test, that is for the right. Van Uyck test is for the indole alkaloid. So in the indole alkaloid, you have to remember the ergot, right? Murexide test, that is for the purine alkaloid, right? So next part is glycoside. Glycosides are the non-reducing organic compounds that on hydrolysis gives the alkalis or enzymes. Particularly in the glycoside, there are the two part, sugar part, that is a glycone, and there is a non-sugar part that is called as a glycone, right? A glycone. So in the, see, these are the all parts, purple grapes, there is a barks, wild cherry bark, right? Then seeds, linseed, ammi visnaga, visnagin, roots, there is a licorice, fruits, ritha, orange leaves. There are many more fruits are there. Examples come under the coriander fruits, right? Leaves, senna, and aloe, right? Now, here we have seen the general test, particularly before going to the chemical test, we have to focus on the classification of glycoside in the basis of the linkage. So as you will see, glycosides are classified by the 3 to 4 ways. Glycosides are classified on the basis of linkage. Glycosides are classified on the basis of therapeutic nature. Glycosides are classified on the basis of chemical nature. So here we are going to discuss glycosides are classified on the basis of their linkage. And here the question, always question which will be asked on this. O glycoside, in this glycoside is a sugar part which is linked with the oxygen atom of the glycone, right? S glycoside, in the S glycoside, particularly sugar which is attached to the sulfur. That's why O means oxygen atom of the glycone. Here sulfur atom of the glycone, right? Now cinegreen. So cinegreen. So in that black mustard. In the black mustard, there is a well-known example is a cinegreen, which is a thiocyanate glycoside. N glycoside, in these glycosides, the sugar which is linked with the nitrogen atom, particularly amino group of the glycone. In that there is a nucleosides, DNA, RNA, some nitrogen bases are there, right? And C glycoside. The question were asked on the C glycoside in the previous exams. So in this glycoside sugar link, so that is a condense that is directly to the carbon atom, right? For example, alloimidine. Alloimidine is an example, right? Now O glycoside, S glycoside, N glycoside, and C glycoside. Classification of glycoside based on the glycon part. This glycon part, if you will say the your glucose, in the glucose there is senoside, right? Senoside. Now next part is a rhamnose. There is a rhamnose, frangulin, digitoxose, digoxin, glucose and rhamnose. There is a glucoramnose or frangulin, rhamnose and glucose. There is a rhamnoglucolin, means there is a routine. A routine is a bioflavonoid. That is a bioflavonoid routine on hydrolysis gives the quercetin plus rhamnose plus the glucose, right? So next, now, classification of the glycoside based on the chemical nature. This is a very, very important part. So here we'll discuss the first saponin glycoside. So saponin glycoside, that is a glycon. You can see that as its name indicates, saponin means there is a so formation takes place. There is a right. So in that translinked steroidal are there. There is a sarcogenin, then yamogenin. There is a diascoria, ginseng. These are the some crude drugs come under the saponin glycoside. Saponin glycoside. Cardiac glycoside. This is a very important, dear student, cardiac glycoside. In the cardiac glycoside, you can say that that is a Bufo vulgaris, right? Or toad poisons. That is come under the Digitalis thapsus, Digitalis lanata, Digitalis purpurea, right? So in that there is a digitoxos, digitoxygenin, gitoxin, detoxygenin. These are the chemical constant which are present. So in the plant, crude drug, you can say that Digitalis thapsus, Digitalis lanata, Digitalis purpurea, right? Or these are the cardiac glycoside. Anthraquinone. So there is a chemically, if you will see that there is an anthracene derivative. In the anthracene derivatives, you can see that anthracene means which is a there are the four cyclic rings are present. In that, particularly there is a Cascara sagrada, then Cassia angustifolia or Cassia acutifolia belong to the family. Uh, Leguminosae, there is aloimidine, aloe palmadum, right? So there is these are the anthraquinone glycoside. You can say that or anthracene glycoside. These are the particularly pharmacologically purgatives and laxative, which has a therapeutic effect. So mainly flavanol glycoside. In that there are many more form: flavanol, flavonoid, flavanol. In that, there is a ginkgo, then buckwheat, which is obtained from the uh, Phagopyrum esculentum. In the buckwheat, there is a chemical constituent that is a vitamin P that is called as rutin, right? Then coumarin glycoside. In the coumarin glycoside, coumarin cyclooxygenase inhibitor. So if it is a cyclooxygenase inhibitor, it has a anti-inflammatory activity. You can say that coumarin has a anticoagulant activity. In that ammivisnagin, chelosides. These are the drugs come under the particularly this coumarins. Phenolic analgesics. So there is aspirin, cyanogenetic, bitter almond, or you can say that wild cherry bark. Wild cherry bark. Now, next, if you will see the class type, phenyl glycoside. Here we will discuss in detail. So in the phenyl glycoside, you can say that arbutin, bearberry, glucovanillin, vanillin, particularly anthraquinone. There is a senoside A, senoside B, senoside C, senoside D, senna glycoside, flavin. There is a particularly citrus fruits. You can see that in the flavors, we have discussed the buckwheat or the hesperidin, which is a present in the orange. Hesperidin on hydrolysis gives the hesperitin, right? Then cyanogenetic. Already I told you that that is a chemically coumarin, visnagin, ammivisnaga, glucoalkaloid. In that there is a solanum, particularly this solanum, solasodine, that is a glucoalkaloid. Then steroid, that is a cardiac glycoside. Already we have discussed digitoxygenine, digitalis. Now, saponin, there is a diasporia, and diasporin is there. Coumarin, there is a particularly umbelliferone, asafoetida. Now here we will focus on the majorly the chemical test or identification test. Now here in glycoside we will discuss in detail, because there will be maximum questions which will be asked on the glycoside chemical test. So first is the anthraquinone glycoside. You can say that anthracene glycoside. So in that, here there are the two tests. First, we are going to focus on the bond antagon test. And there is a Senna, Cascara, Sagrada, Rhubarb, and Aloe. So for these four drugs, crude drugs, there is a one common test, that is a bond antagon test. So there is a crude drug which is extracted with the water, right? And you have to take the filter, extract of that filter, and you have to made it alkaline with the some ammonia. Anyways, you can say that ammonia or any caustic soda, right? You will get the aqueous layer, that is a pink, red, or violet color. You will get pink, red, or violet color. So whenever you will get the pink, red color, aqueous layer shows the pink, red color. That is nothing but the bond antagon test, right? So this is about the bond antagon test. Now, next is a before going to this test, there is one more test that is called as, this is a bond antagon. Then if we will add a FeCl3 ferric chloride, then that is called as modified bond antagon test, dear student. So in the case of the modified bond antagon test, in the modified bond antagon test, you have to add particularly FeCl3, then and then it will come. There is a modified bond antagon test, right? So next we'll go for the next glycoside, that is a cardiac glycoside. Now here for your kind information, cardiac glycoside, there are many more tests for the cardiac glycoside. You can say that Balger test, the Gall test, right? Then there is a KD test, right? So there are many more tests for the Lieberman-Burcher test. Actually, steroidal glycoside, you can say that these are divided into C23 or C24 glycoside. A glycon part of this glycoside are the steroidal moiety. There is a 5-member lactone ring. If there is a 5-member lactone ring, there is a cardiolite. And if there is a 6-member lactone ring, then it may leads to bifadinolide, right? So lactone ring is the important part is there, chemical. Now, as I told you, there are the two type of the cardiac glycoside. One is a cardinolides, another is a bufadinolide. For the cardinolide, there is a Stropanthus combe. So if you will see the Stropanthus combe, there is a stropanthidine is a chemical constituent. Then there is a digitalis, and bufadinolide, there is a squill. You can say that squill is nothing but the jungly patch, right? Squill is nothing but the jungly patch, right? Now, next specific test, as I already told you, which chemical test is for the uh, particularly for the cardiac glycoside, which chemical test is for the particularly bufatinolide, right? So now, first Baljet test. In case of the Baljet test, powder drug, whenever powder drug which is treated with the picric acid or salt of picric acid, that is called as sodium picrate, and you will get the yellow to orange test, that is your Baljet test. And there was a question on the Baljet test. This Baljet test is for the cardinolide. That's why I'm telling you. So this is very important, which there are the two type of the cardiac glycoside, C23 and C24. So Baljet test is for the cardinolide. Next is the legal test. In case of the Baljet test, you have to remember sodium picrate and yellow, orange, red color form. Legal test. In case of the legal test, powder which is treated with the pyridine plus sodium nitrochloride, you have to shake it and then filter. So whatever you will get the filtrate, you have to filtrate, make it alkaline one, and you will get the pink to red color. Pink to red color, right? So this is the Baljet and this is the legal test, right? Baljet and legal test. Okay. Now next is bufadinolide. Bufadinolide. In case of the bufadinolide, There are the two tests. As I told you, there is a Lieberman-Burcher test and another is Killer-Kirani, that is for the deoxy sugar, deoxy sugar test, right? So first of all, Lieberman-Burcher, that is a test for the C24 glycoside, right? Whenever crude drug, which is a treated with the chloroform, at the same time you have to add the equal volume of the acetic anhydride. If you don't have the acetic anhydride, you can add the acetyl chloride. Then you had the 1 to 2 drops of the concentrated H2SO4, and you will get the green color. So there is a ring form, that is a green color you will get, and that green color occurs due to the concentrated H2SO4. Whatever you will add 2 drops, right? Again, Lieberman-Burcher test, you have to remember. The students are confused here. Which chemical test is for the cardinalide and which chemical test is for the bufadienolide. So remember, Lieberman-Burcher and another is a Killer-Kilani. This is for the bufadienolide. Then next is a uh, Killer-Kilani. This is again very important. Killer-Kilani and drug plus glacial acetic acid, right? Drug plus glacial acetic acid plus drop of FeCl3, right? Plus you have to add here concentrated H2SO4, which will get the lower layer, right? So reddish brown color at the junction means you will get the rings there, right? So rings, that is nothing but Killer-Kilani test. That is nothing but the Killer-Kilani test. Saponin glycoside. As you remember, the soap formation, a froth-like effect you will get in case that is called as saponin glycoside. Two types of this glycoside. One is a tetracycline saponin. Another is a pentacyclic saponin. So diascorea is there, shatavari, then sarsaparilla, licorice, quillia, senega, and brahmi. These are the pentacyclic, right? As I told you, the steroidal saponin, diascorea, and shatavari, and pentacyclic, there are the SLQSB, right? So there is a, right. What are the specific tests? You have to remember there are the two specific tests: hemolysis test and foam test. Foam you can easily remember because as its name indicates, saponin means there is a froth formation takes place. So that's why you can remember that there is a froth or foam test, right? Uh, Here, foam test, when your crude drug powder, which is treated with water, you have to shake properly. Then there is a foam production occurs, right? Then hemolytic test. In the hemolytic test, there is a powder solution plus blood sample, and you will get there is a hemolysis of RBCs. Hemolysis of RBCs. These are the two tests for the saponin glycoside. These are the two tests for the saponin glycoside. Now, cyanogenetic glycoside, they are called as cyanophore glycoside. Cyanophore glycoside. In case of the cyanophore glycoside, you know, right? In case of the cyanophore glycoside, bitter almond, wild cherry bark, and linseed, these are the drugs come under that. Okay. Then Grignard reaction plus sodium picrite test, that is called as particularly yellow color you will get in case of the sodium picrite test, right? So whenever filter paper plus strip, you have to soap strip, you can say that soak in the 10% picric acid, and you have to add the 10% sodium carbonate. This sodium picrite paper contact with the moist drug, and the color will be the change of the that paper, filter paper turn to the brick red. Whenever there is a brick red color, then you can say that these are the examples of the cyanogenetic glycoside. These are the examples of the bitter almond or wild cherry bark or linseeds. Then drug plus aqueous the mercuric nitrate. Whenever there is a metallic mercury, then in the mercuric nitrate there is you will get the cream color formation, right? Then you have to particularly welcome resins and copper sulfate. In that, you have to dip the filter paper strip, then expose to the freshly cut surface of the drug. and you will get the blue stain is produced. So these are the tests for the cyanogenetic glycoside, right? Again, there is the isothiocyanate glycoside. There is a, you have to just remember glucosinolate compounds, black mustard. There is no as such any chemical test. Then phenyl benzogamopyrone flavonol. We have seen the Shinoda test is for that. Yes, this there will be again many time question was asked on the Shinoda. You have to remember Shinoda test is for the bioflavonoids. If there will be buckwheat, if there will be routine, so you can blindly say that that is for the, that is nothing in the your Shinoda test. In the Shinoda test, you have to take the crude drug powder, then 5 ml add 90%, 95% ethanol. You have to add the concentrated HCl, zero point 0.5 gram of magnesium tanning, and pink color you will get. Right? Pink color you will get. For your kind information, whatever Shinoda test, this then we have also seen the Thaleoquin test. That Thaleoquin test, right? Such a type of test, there will be the question which will be asked only. That is Shinoda test is for. Options are A, phenolic glycoside; B, aldehyde glycoside; C, flavonol glycoside; and D, saponin glycoside. So you can blindly say that this is for the bioflavonoids. You have to remember, right? Because this is not a specific test, so hardly there the question which will be asked for the reagent here. But just you have to remember their names, right? Then residue plus lead acetate, you will get the yellow color. That is a general test. Then whenever there is a residue, you have to add the, in that you have to add excess amount of NaOH, right? You have to add the excess amount of NaOH, that is the yellow color. Addition of particularly acid, you have to means charcoal, and that can be decolorized, right? So the method which can be used for the extraction of the glycoside, that is called as, you have to remember, that is also for the alkaloid, that is called as Stas-Otto method. There will be question which will be asked on that. So here in the Stas-Otto method, you have to take a particularly powder plant material, crude drug. You have to extract with the alcohol in the oxalate apparatus, collect that the extract, add the lead acetate to precipitate tannins, filter and pass H2 gas, hydrogen sulfide gas. Then you have to filter, particularly subject to the, there is again that filter will go for the fractional crystallization, distillation, or chromatography, and you will get here the pure glycoside. You will get the pure glycoside. Okay. So again, for the next identification test, general test for the, this is the general test. Now we'll see the at a glance, or in a chart form, general test or specific test for the certain glycoside. As I already told you, anthraquinone glycoside. In the anthraquinone, we have seen the example. There is a cascara, there is a senna, and there is a alloy. That is bond-tagon test. And as I already told you, the whenever you will add the FeCl3, then that test is called as modified bond-tagon. That is only for the alloy, right? Shinoda test is for the flavonoids. Cyanogenetic test, Grignard test, right? In case of the steroidal, there is a Ligal, there is a Baljate. You have then Killer Kilani. You can add a KD. You can add the Passage. You can add the Lieberman Burchard. Already we have seen KD as well as Passage reaction. You have to write down. That is also for the cardiac glycoside. Then again, saponin. Whenever there is a saponin, we have seen hemolysis test or hemolytic test or soap test, foam test, sorry, and coumarin, that is a UV light, right? So this already we have seen chemical identification, violet to blue, Lieberman Burcher, violet ring is there, right? Anthraquinone bond tagon test, 3 ml of benzene, pink, right? Coumarin, 2 ml of yellow coloration, foam test, right? Froth papers, okay. Then now what are the therapeutic application? Saponin glycoside alkaloid, that is aloin, then sinoside and aloin. Sorry, not saponin. Senosides, senoside A, senoside B, mainly your cascara, your senna and aloe. These are the laxative as well as purgative digitoxin and strophanthin, strophantidine, strophantoscombe. These are the cardiotonic, right? So then next is a black mustard. In the case of the black mustard, there is a green. As I told you, the green, which are the GIT irritant, salix alba, salicin. There is a salicylic acid. So that is nothing but the anti-rheumatic, glycerinic, antipeptic ulcer, hesperidine. Hesperidine, you can say that antithrombotic action, you can say that, right? So that is come under the hesperidine. There is a hesperidine, and one more is there, routine, right? Buckwheat, bioflavonoid, methyl salicylate, analgesic. Which are the expected or not expected? Which were the questions asked in the previous GPAT exams? The most suitable test for the digitoxos the most suitable test for the digitoxos is a Hager test, Bragandorf test, Baljet test, Killer Kilani. So for the digitoxos, there is a Killer Kilani, right? Killer Kilani, as I already told you, that is for the deoxy sugar, and digitoxys come under that. That is a bufadienolide. Baljet test we have discussed for the cardinolide C23 glycoside. Hager's and Dragondorf, these are the general tests for the alkaloid, right? So correct answer is a Killer Kilani test. This question was asked in the GPAT 2024. Then alloy contains, as I already told you, the classification which is based on the glycosidic linkage. So C glycoside, O glycoside, S glycoside, N glycoside. There is a S glycoside. Modified bond taken test for the C glycoside, right? Then there is a vanillin. This is the general test you have to remember. Vanillin hydrochloride test. This is a general test for the anthraquinone glycoside. General test for the anthraquinone glycoside. Right. Anthraquinone glycoside, cardiac glycoside. We have seen the bioflavonoid. We have discussed some test. Right. So next is terpenoid. In case of the terpenoid, you have to remember there is a isoprene unit, there is a C5H8, that is a isoprene unit, and then if there is a monoterpene, then it is a C10H16. If there is a sesquiterpene, there that is a C15H16. Sorry, H24. If there is a diterpene, there is a C20, C20, and H32. So you have to remember this is very important one, right? So right, in this way you have to go for the triterpene and right, terpenes. These are the hydrocarbons as well as their oxygenated derivatives. These are the alcoholic, ketone, and aldehyde, right? Terpenes and terpenoids mainly, which these are found in the some essential oil, which is also called as the volatile oil. If you will see the eucalyptus oil of the plant and animal origin. Rhizome, that is the ginger. If you remember the very first lecture of the, that is general pharmacognosy, at that time we have seen the rhizome, right, underground part of the plant, rhizome, right? So there is a ginger we have discussed at that time, right? Then fruits, caraway, carom, carvi, caraway. Carvone is a chemical constant which come under the caraway family belonging to the caraway. There is the umbelliferi. Then in the fruits you can say that coriander, you can say that fennel, you can say that dill, you can say that all are come under the volatile oils or terpenoids, right? Leaves, geranium, birds. Whenever there is a bird, there is a clove, right? Then woods, sandalwood, and flower, rose and jasmine, right? So volatile oils and their terpenoids, volatile oils and their terpenoid, particularly phenyl oil, that is the this is very very important. The question were asked on this phenyl oil, which is a chemical constant present in the phenyl oil which is obtained from the Phoniculum vulgare, right? Okay. Then right, again, gingiber, there is a gingiberol, right? Gingiberol is there. Then clove oil, in the clove oil there is a eugenol is there, right? And sandal oil, there is a santalol, there is a santalol. Okay. Then peppermint oil, menthol, lemon oil, limonene. Again, whatever terpenoids are present, the question will be always asked on that. Which terpenoid present in the ginger oil? You have to remember the ginger oil. Which terpenoid which is present in the lemon oil? So there is a limonene. You have to remember. Now, therapeutic effects and pharmaceutical application. In case of this, terpenoids, you know, it has a very important role in the perfume industry, in the cosmetic industry, in the essence, sticks, foods, and pharmaceutical beverages industry. Right? They have the wide spectrum of activities such as the antiseptic, stimulant, carminative, diuretic, anthelmintic, analgesic, antirheumatic, and aromatic activity. Right? If you will see terpenoid as a important role in the condiments also. This is also used as a repellent, insecticides, deodorants, and pesticides. Volatile. Volatile oil is a particularly odorous volatile, mainly plant and animal source volatile oils. See, these are the some volatile oils, crude drugs. All parts there is a lemongrass, right? Then rhizomes, ginger, rhizomes, many more plant we have examples we have seen come under the rhizomes. Fruits, nutmeg. Nutmeg is a which is obtained from the brass, particularly nutmeg, right? So that is a myristica fragrance belonging to the family Myristaceae that come under the seeds, anise oil, leaves, eucalyptus leaves. Bud, in that bud there is a clove, wood, sandalwood, and lavender. So this is very important. In short, I will tell you extraction, purification, isolation of the volatile oil. At least you have to remember the names of the methods which are used for the uh, isolation and purification of the volatile oil. Hydrodistillation method, enfluorese method, enfluorese and Euclid. These are the very important methods that can be particularly used for the extraction and purification of the volatile oil. That is a liquid carbon dioxide. So this is the diagram of the particularly hydrodistillation, right? This is the diagram of the hydrodistillation. Okay. Then eucalypt method. This is used for the citrus oil, particularly whenever fruits roll through the sharp projection, penetrate the epidermis and oil glands located in the outer portion of the peel. In this case, you have to remove the oil from the glands, right? Euclid methods, volatile oil. It is based on the centrifugation, enfluorese method, right? So this is the enfluorese method. If you will see this, these are the parts of the plant, right? Enfluorese method. In that glass plate is covered with the thin coating, especially prepared and odorless. That is a chassis, right? So fragrance saturated, that is called as pomade, that can be treated with alcohol to extract the oil from the fats, right? So type of volatile oil, hydrocarbon, black pepper, then alcohol, there is a coriander as well as cardamom, aldehyde, cinnamon. Chemical nature of the volatile oil that I have mentioned here. Then there is a lavender, ketone, spearmint, oxide, chenopodium, right? Then phenolic ether, anise, and phenol is a clove, right? So identification test here, only general identification test is there. You have to take the TS of the volatile oil. It contains some crude drugs, and you have to add the Sudan red. Whenever you will add the Sudan red, you will get that red color to that oil cells, all oil glands, right? So whenever you will take the, again second point, you will take the TS transfer section of the volatile oil containing crude drugs. Again, you have to add the tincture powder of the alkana and gives the red color to the oil globules, right? Then whenever you will add the some organic solvent in the organic solvent, if you add, then you will get the miscible, right? That can be the miscible. Then volatile oil plus the water, right, which is a immiscible, which is not soluble, immiscible, right? Then therapeutic effects, umbelliferous fruits, cinnamon, carminative, right? Chenopodium, anthelmintic. So question which will be a chenopodium, that question was asked in the GPAT 2018. Chenopodium is used as a anthelmintic, B, anti-amoebic, C, anti-leprotic, D, anti-inflammatory. So correct answer is anthelmintic. Remember, dear student, juniper, that is used as a diuretic, eucalyptus, antiseptic, clove, that is this clove oil, or particularly not clove oil, you can say that clove, whenever you will bite that clove, it acts as the dental analgesics, right? If you are suffering from the toothache, at that time you can eat the cloves. Jatamansi, sedative, turpentine, local irritant. Which questions were asked on the previous exam on the particularly terpenoids or volatile oil? The most suitable test for the dizzy toxins, there is a sorry, this Salowski test is used for the identification of. This question was asked in the JIPA 23. Salkowski test, you have to remember Salkowski test is for the terpenoid. Salkowski test is for the terpenoid. Again, Lieberman-Burcher test is also used for the glycoside, particularly that is a steroidal glycoside, but that is also used for the triterpenoid. That's why, and the question was asked in the JIPA 2022. Lieberman-Burcher test gives the green color indicating the presence of triterpenoid. Mainly which reagent mainly used in a Lieberman Burcher? Already we have seen that acetic anhydride. As I already explained, you people concentrate H2SO4, you will get the right. So ring, you will get acetic anhydride. As I already told you, acetic anhydride, if there will be not available, you can use the acetyl chloride. Next is Nuller's test is specific for the triterpenoids. So there is a terpenoids Nuller's test, right? Tannins is an astringent bitter plant, which is a phenolic compound, right? So these are the some plants, part of the plant: bark, Arjuna bark, Ashoka, fruits, amla, so leaves, tea, seed, coffee, right? So Pelcatacho black. So that is these are the some properties. There is no single method available for the extraction of the tannin, right? So there are the two type of the tannin. One is a true tannin, another is a pseudo tannin. True tannin, what is the difference between true and pseudo tannin? It depends on their molecular weight. The high molecular weight containing compounds are called as true tannin. Low molecular weight containing compounds are the particularly pseudo tannin. Well-known example of the pseudo tannin is a gallic acid. You have to remember gallic acid is a pseudo tannin. Then again, true tannin is particularly divided into hydrosoluble and condensable. Mostly students they know only hydrosoluble and condensed. Actually, true and pseudo, and then true is divided into hydrosoluble and condensed. Hydrosoluble there is a pyrogallol and catechol in case of the condensed tannin, right? So already we have discussed. So gallic acid, ellagic acid that is called as pyrogallol. See, right? Pseudotannins extraction and isolation methods already. So non-polar solvents, semi-polar solvents, that is a use PCl3, hydrosoluble tannin identification. This is very important. There are the three tests: gelatin test, gold bitter skin test, and APCl3 test. Hydrosoluble tannins, there is a bluish color. Condensed tannin, there is a greenish color. Gold bitter skin, in that you will get the whenever 2% HCl you will add, wash with the water. In that you have to soak in the solution FeSO4. So there is a brown or black color formation is there. And gelatin test, tannin plus 1% gelatin, white PPT you will get it. Then gelatin test in detail I have given: 1% gelatin, 10% sodium chloride, and white buff color you will get. That is your gelatin test. Gold bitter test, 20% HCl, 1% solution of ferrous sulfate, brown and black color. Again, one more test is there. There is a phenazone test. In the phenazone test, sodium acid phosphate, phenylhydrazole, you have to use here, right? Matchstick test, this is for the catechin, that is called as catechin test also. You know, when you're in case of the matchstick, you have to dip in the plant extract, right? And dry near the burner, right? Okay, so you will get the hydrochloric as moist with the concentrated HCl, and you will get the pink or red color due to the fluoroglycinol and ferric chloride. Whenever it treated with the ferric chloride solution of add a ferric chloride a solution, blue and black, violet, greenish, you will get it. Then therapeutic uses: it acts as antioxidant, antidiarrheal, antidote for the heavy metal poisoning, treatment of the burns, ulcer, then right, astringent, treatment for the hemorrhoids. Then there is a industry, uh, there is a some tanning industry that can be also used. Okay, and you know one more test is for the alkaloid. There is a thioquine test, that is for the quinoline alkaloid thioquine test, right? That's it.
Okay. So, any question from student side? Please place in chat box. Dear students, any question? Yes. Any question is there in the chats? I think no one. Yes, dear students. Okay. So, lastly, as usual, vote of thanks. So, I special thanks for our beloved campaign director, our mentor, Dr. K.R. Biani sir, our principal, Dr. Kale sir, principal, Dr. Pagore sir, Dr. Bihani sir, and our renowned speaker, that is the Dr. Rajendra Patil sir, my colleague, coordinator, Mangesh sir, as well as Kalve sir, and all dear students. I think, sir, one question is there.
Yes.
Sir, pharmacological uses of alkaloids. Uh, Sir, one question is there.
Yes. What are
Pharmacological
the
uses of
pharmacological
alkaloids.
uses of alkaloid? There are many more uses of the alkaloid. Atropine, atropine acts as an anti uh, cholinergic drug. Atropine, they are particularly alkaloids. They are acts as a particularly, anti use as a mydriatic. Some alkaloids, caffeine alkaloid, they are the particularly CNS stimulant, right? There are plenty of the uses of the alkaloids are there. Then quinoline, they acts as a anti-malarial, right? Then some quinoline, they acts as a anti-arrhythmic. Okay. Then ephedra alkaloid, that is a use as a sympathomimetic adrenergic, right? Many more uses. Then reserpine alkaloid, which is used as a antipsychotic. That reserpine also used as a antihypertensive, right? Many more uses. Any more questions?
Any more question from student side? Please ask. Don't hesitate to ask. Okay. So remaining part I will continue. So yes, I think which alkaloid used as an analgesic, sir?
Opium alkaloid, opium, poppy, morphine, which is a stronger analgesic, right? So opium alkaloid, which is used as an analgesic. Any more question?
Yes. Anyone remaining? Okay. So lastly, thank you so much, sir. Sir has elaborate all these things which is related to GPAT point of view in the pharmacognosy. Sir has summarized all things which is related to GPAT for alkaloids, then glycosides, some chemical tests, some their importance, then pharmacological uses. All these things sir has well and elaborated. So according to chair, I will finish the program. Thank you very much, sir. Patil sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
my dear
welcome.
student. Thank you so much, respected director, sir, and all the respected principals and faculty
Thank you
members.
very much.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
All dear, you can leave the meeting. बोला 1 मिनिट मला लेफ्ट